Hello people, and welcome back to part 42 of Palaven, our vanilla Cities Skylines build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And thank you so much for all support, kind comments and suggestions on the Downtown University episode. You guys really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, there has been no live stream between the Downtown University episode and this episode, so we've still got a fair old chunk of detail to come through and do here. But that's what the live streams are for, isn't it? Yes it is. We've got plenty of work to come around here, design a little interchange that happen, and detail up all this riverfront all the way back over to Dawson. So plenty to do for the live streams when we do get back into them. Yeah, so here we go. Off camera I've had it in just a really basic kind of slip and entry system off of the highway, using a two-way highway which downgrades into an industrial road. And then it just splits off in two directions here. And then what we'll do with this road infrastructure on this side is basically exactly the same thing. Just have a little entry and exit point into kind of this part of town. However, in today's episode we are going to be working on something of a town centre to begin transitioning away from high density. As we're taking that inspiration from Pittsburgh, we will of course dive into Google Earth temporarily and take a look at our inspiration for today and kind of see the vibe that we're going for. But we've got a fair old space to work with. We're going to get some uniques in here today. I think we're going to work with the mall moderation as well, create a little bit of a mini transport hub around that. And also factor in this dead monorail line which flows out of the transport hub over here, which will give people kind of a direct line into the main transport hub straight off the highway. So it should be a nice time. I think we're going to have fun today. It's going to be very similar to what we did over here, over by the very first town centre that Palaven ever had. So kind of, a little bit of public transport in here, some commercial, some unique buildings as well, certainly. We'll see what kind of designs we come up with here today. But absolutely kind of the key theme is that the town centre retains a view to the skyline, right? This is a very key part of Palaven's atmosphere and its aesthetic. And then what we'll do in subsequent episodes and live streams is begin to expand something of a outer lying suburbia pattern, very similar to how we've done in the first few episodes of Palaven around this town centre. One of my favourite builds, by the way, this just looks so nice. Huge fan of these little tram squares outside here. Let's just kind of toot Palaven's early horn for a second here, shall we? Super huge fan of this area, some lovely green belt stuff coming through with some nicely decorated tram stops. And again, it all boasts that view to the skyline, right? So we're going to work on a similar project today. Nice town centre build. And then in the following episodes we'll expand that outer lying downtown suburbia. However, we're doing it on this side of the map now. Very nice. So, let's jump into Google Earth, shall we? And see what we're working with today. Hey guys, welcome to Google Earth. It's been a while since we've been here. But here we are in Pittsburgh. Yes please. Wonderful little city to take inspiration from today. So let's first of all take a look at kind of our reference point. So we have our university here now, up alongside the ring road. It's actually very similar, isn't it? With that layer of height in there. Nice. So obviously we have kind of our main skyline here, right? This is what Palaven boasts. Has those big skyscrapers, very tightly packed in. Very kind of distinctive skyline, I think. However, as we now begin to crawl away, we can see, we just see very gradual decline in height. Looks like there's some kind of expo centre here as well. Some kind of exhibition centre maybe. Lots of car parking. We probably won't go this intense with the car parks. There is a fair few around here, but there's lots to take inspiration from, So there's something of a bit of a transitional space between where the high rises are and where the outer line suburbia will sit. This is what we'll put on the opposite side of the highway as we climb up that hill. It's a very nice kind of sparse suburban area. There's a ton of churches in here. Like loads of churches. But yeah. We'll obviously add in our own flair as well. But expo centres, some car parking space, some light office space as well. Creating something a little bit varied, a little bit different, I think. And I think we've got enough to go off here today. Let's get some office, some unique buildings in, a little bit of public transport. Create ourselves a transitional town centre, if you will. So let's go ahead and get started. Would also just like to point out how much use the metro system is getting now. Now that kind of all the stations are active in receiving power. Just getting some really nice walking usage. We definitely need to upgrade this square at some point, make a little more fuss out of this metro switch point. And probably do something a little fancier with the elevated walkways that come through this part of town as well. But, you know, it's nice to see that ring metro getting used now. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, so the first thing we'll factor in is going to be that monorail line. Let's go ahead and grab it, shall we? And we'll come down to our lowest incline as we begin to kind of carry on here. And we'll just come to the angle snap while we're working with some fairly tight spaces. It's just about clear these cycle paths. Again, it's more layers of transport and height infrastructure coming in here as well. It's always appreciated. We'll continue to bring it along. Come down here as well. Let's grab that monorail station. Super. So we can centralise that right there. That's going to be very nice indeed. And then we can also have an access point into the new town centre from here. And then we can prepare this monorail line to run parallel with this road, which will eventually feed into the airports, which will be a few episodes away, I think. I know there's a few people keen on the arrival of Palaven's international airports, which will happen one day, I promise. Promise it will. Okay, so we'll now begin to move into the kind of metro infrastructure. We will slink down here a little bit. I'm aware that this metro line is quite high, but I think it kind of suits this part of town, you know. There's lots of kind of transport height developing here now with ring road, metro, and actual road. And again now, as we've come down into this part of town, we'll just start descending. And we can get some nice, almost transitional parkland to fit in these spaces too. It's now come to road length also. And then we'll start with the road guideline. Let's grab ourselves a little bit of freeform stuff. Kind of arrive in the middle. Let's get a nice gentle curve going on there. So fairly gradual slopes. The monorail will look fantastic as well, kind of flowing over all this open space. With whatever we end up putting here, we'll probably do some nice kind of office parkland stuff here, I think. I think that'd be quite nice. Maybe throwing some European assets in there too. Let's go ahead and grab this monorail line. And we'll drag him over here. And then we should be good for a stop this side as well. There we go. Okay, so let's kind of see what we think, shall we? See how this looks. A little image of it here. Okay. I think we're happy with that, right? There we are. Let's get a little nighttime look, see how we're faring during the evening. It's all about the angles, right? Okay, yeah. Oh yes, there we go. Especially with the ring metro. There we are. That is what we are after, I think, isn't it? Yes, please. Then we'll begin to map out kind of the rest of the area here. So we'll come out from this junction by 20. Let's turn off that road guideline, snap right over here. There we go. And then we'll do the same here as well. So kind of two grander roads feeding into this area, I think. Now we absolutely do want some kind of unique buildings here. Remember we saw on Google Maps we had some kind of expo centres, and we absolutely have an expo centre asset in here. This one is literally called expo centre as well. Fantastic. Map out a more personalised road network around that, I think. Okay, and then maybe we'll save room for some car parks to sit out front of it as well. We'll place in the expo centre right here. Again, the orientation of the asset is just as important as anything else, so I think what we'll actually do is just rotate it around a little bit so it faces this main road. Just give it a little switcheroo. And we'll probably upgrade a few of these roads into something a little fancier as well. Maybe some treed roads up front and down the sides. We should get quite a nice aesthetic here as well with the monorails floating by. And of course, let's not forget our park. And of course, let's not forget our path spice to run through here. Again, there is such a thing as too much tree spice, I think. So maybe we'll downgrade into without decorations as we join the road. And then we can also bring in maybe a nice little repeatable tree pattern, or repeatable path pattern, up to this area too. Fantastic, so let's go ahead and set up ourselves a green cities district. And we'll start mapping out some car parks to kind of sit up and alongside the expo centre, right? We'll have a nice little car park spice around here, I think, today. So because the measurements for the car parks and the road network that hugs around the back of the expo centre, we have a little bit of room on the edges here. But I think there's a little bit of surrounding car park to such an important asset like this. I think it helps, I think it really does. Let's also begin to introduce some smaller commercial zonings along kind of the main street here. I don't want too many, of course. I think what we'll do is now introduce a couple of park plazas maybe. A couple of these little guys just to sit up in front of the exhibition centre. It's not totally symmetrical, you know, but if you actually look on Google Live, there are very few things in cities that are symmetrical. Especially in European cities, but I think this is something we can live with. I think we may even throw in the European Medical Clinic as kind of a little corner asset here. I think it works nicely with the repeated Art Deco spice that we introduced last episode. Nice little main street building. Doing to turn these traffic lights off though. As we're on the arterial, we will allow everyone to flow straight through. Please don't stop. Let's go ahead. Thank you very much. And a little bit of penny spice here as well. We'll maybe let this level up though. Okay, let's begin to kind of formulate the town square, if you like. So I think we'll downgrade these roads right here. We'll then have this one come through. We will have our road guideline on. Take away a little bit of this. Grab our curve tool. So again, I think kind of the key asset around this transitional town centre, I think we're going to run with the Mall of Moderation. That's kind of the meat and potatoes, right? This will be a nice little asset to have out here. A little kind of suburban mall that looks over the downtown. I think we can get on board with that. It's nice to see some people using this road now as well. It's the first time I've seen this bridge in action. Slowly coming together, isn't it? It really is. Okay, yeah, I think we'll run with the Mall of Moderation here. And we'll kind of set it back onto this road. Onto this road here. So let's grab our main roads. So I'm going to measure at this point here. We're about 1620, which is up to about there. Always prefer a nice kind of even box for designing a town centre. Really helps kind of centralise everything nicely. Okay, I think we'll enjoy that. I think we will. So let's take it back a little. And then we can start to introduce some car parks out the front of this. Again, lots of kind of car park designs. And then we can drop in the Mall of Moderation right here. Which again, you know, taking lots of inspiration from Pittsburgh. There's lots of car parks around here, around these kind of exhibition centres as we crawl away from the skyline. So I think we'll be okay. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of people choosing to take this road into the downtown now, which is fine. Just need to maybe clear up a few of these traffic lights. We'll probably kill this connection here as well, just have pathways coming through, just so the traffic flow is a little easier. But it will will also take the pressure off of this arterial as well. It's also interesting to note that we have intercity buses coming down here to get all the way over here, which is totally unnecessary. Oh look, the university is burning down. Of course it is. Yeah, so this is like right at the start of the city, right? This is where Palaven began. And there are intercity buses exiting the highway all the way over here and forcing their way through the city to get to that one. So really unnecessary. So we'll probably, well, absolutely include an intercity bus stop right here. So create a little connection here and then bring it onto its own road using just our angle snap. And then we can bring it down. So about there should be okay. Let's go ahead and grab that now. Nice little intercity bus terminal. And we can get some nice designs coming through with our pathways again. Bring it as close as we can. There we go. And then again, up alongside the borders. And then get one through the middle too. And then where we have some empty spaces, we can either come through with maybe a couple of restrooms. And maybe even a little bit of fence design. It's not going to be a Palaven build without some fences, right? There we go. Couple of little bushes, something quite modern and almost landscaped, if you will. You can repeat the sugar maples, maybe let's go for something a little more colourful. And a couple little touches of overgrowth as well. So how are we looking now? How are we looking? We'll keep our pathways running through here as well. Let's grab ourselves maybe a couple little repeated path designs maybe. Intersect them in the middle, maybe without decorations. Just going to help fill out that space a little bit, I think, isn't it? There we go. Okay. Without decorations as we come up the centre here. It's a symmetrical monorail design. Nothing too fancy. Fantastic. We're getting some intercity buses arriving via this point now as well, which is always good news. Should head back out onto the highway now. Make sure he does. Want to make sure that these are going where they're supposed to. Should turn left. Yes, please. And then back onto here. Yes, please. And away he goes. Fantastic. Wonderful. Okay. So that's going to give our Sims a nice little public transport link in here. And of course, if they are arriving via the intercity bus hub, they have the monorail, which takes them straight into the transport hub, which of course takes them across the rest of Palaven. So a nice little bit of, yeah, you see them? They're all walking right here. It's good to see basically 0 cars coming out of the intercity bus station here. It's very nice. I think we'll also upgrade the road. Actually no, let's keep it as kind of regular grey. I think we'll be alright with that. Okay, that's it. Maybe start to introduce a little bit of parkland around here. Maybe come through with a little bit of repeated tennis court spice. Again, more pathways. So the edge of the mall asset is this tile, is it? Yes, it is. So we'll come through here. Just come up through the middle. Best as we can judge it. It's going to be nice. And I think what we'll do here is just start to play with maybe a little bit of office and commercial space. Okay, so we're getting some office assets beginning to appear. And I think what we'll do is mooch through with a repeated conical pattern just to line our pathway. Works really nice with this particular asset that's coming as well. Which one is this? Live and learn training. Very nice. Great corner asset with these kind of little stairs it's got going on. It works nicely up against this kind of open park space as well. It's not taken away from the shopping mall either, I don't think. I have also forgotten to introduce a trolleybus network into the campus, which we did say we would do. So I think we'll have this here. And we'll create the trolleybus network to float around the campus itself. However, we'll also bring a line for the trolleybus to actually come down and into the town centre and make a little bit of a trolleybus kind of interchange. Little place for it to stop maybe. Leaves us with 3 tiles between the arterial and the one-way trolleybus road. I think I'm alright with that. Again, it's not the most amount of room for detailing. However, I think it'll be okay for right now. Okay, so let's then mooch back through the campus. And where do we want to take this? I guess we'll just kind of follow the main road, right? Or we could take it down into the car parks here. Create a little bit of a trolleybus turnaround. Yeah, let's do that, because I don't really want to lose these treed roads right here. Shout out to Harry Morgan, everyone, who reminded me I did not put the trolleybus network in, despite saying we would do. I do appreciate you guys keeping on top of me. Really do. Really do. Thanks for the reminder. Okay, so let's take away this monorail line temporarily. And again, we can save ourselves 3 tiles in between, so kind of the repeated spice at each end is mimicked. And then we'll have that here as well. Fantastic. Okay. So we'll start here. Let's have a stop right there. And then we'll stop just by the metros. I think that'd be nice. Once again by the residentials, right by the pathways. Again, nice little public transport link for these people as well. Got in some garbage issues around here too. We do need to come through and create kind of like an industrial service area for the downtown actually. Stuff that kind of deals with death and garbage. There are garbage trucks getting over here, but don't want it really accumulating like that. And then again it'll stop on its little interchange here. We could have it stop on this road too. I guess we'll see. We'll see how we feel come the end. And then we'll mimic our stops on the way back. Okay, so let's watch our trolleybuses come out, shall we? There's a lot of kind of greenery going on in this campus, isn't there? So maybe let's throw in kind of a slightly, almost pretentious shade of green. But again, this is how I kind of like to use trolleybuses, you know, very small, localised methods of public transport, and that kind of link 2 different methods together, you know. Very similar to how we did in Palaven, if you remember. We have kind of a short little trolleybus loop here, and it works really nicely. So it just takes people from the residential up into the metro up here, and it gets lots of use. I think if you're going to rely on trolleybuses to be like a tram or a metro, you know, something to carry vast amounts of people like that's happening right here, you're going to have a bad time. Kind of smaller, localised transport routes would be my tips for trolleybuses if you're playing with them. They're not the best things in the world, but they're alright. They're alright, I think. So again, very similar. The campus will now have its own. We'll start to see some people move around here. I think we may also introduce the Grand Mall into this build as well, almost to like accompany the expo centre and have a little bit of kind of shared car park vibes going on here as well. Do we want to include the Grand Mall here? Can I check it from all angles? Kind of happy to have 2 larger commercial assets up alongside each other like this. Come on, Grand Mall, light up. Please don't tell me this is a dark nighttime asset. If it is, it's not staying. Pretty sure this is based off an actual building in Sydney, isn't it? I think it blocks the view too much, doesn't it? And it kind of takes away from the expo centre. No Grand Mall. I think, you know, if you're spending that long thinking about it, trying to make it work, then it's probably not gonna fit there. So guys, I have just realised something. You may have noticed over the last few episodes that I've been struggling with budget and leaving the game to run on 3 speed. This is because I have not come back into my taxes and increased the tax rate for the high density versions. Don't forget to do this. This is really important. You'll notice that the cash flow has kind of skyrocketed here right now. Yeah. Just as we move through the milestones, I forgot to come through and do this. Set your high density tax rates as well. Absolute quilt. I can't believe I forgot to do that. So I think guys, I am feeling the media broadcast building from the Concerts DLC. I think this is going to work quite nicely. It's not too big, definitely doesn't take away from the expo centre. It's going to work really nicely as part of our tram. Not tram. Obsessed with the trams with our trolleybus interchange. And then let's also now begin to expand the road network out a touch and bring a nice little curved road in like this. I think what we'll do is we'll also make this one way. So bring it into this side. There we go. Nice access off the arterial into the expo centre here. Just another way in. And the small park asset, which we have used 1,000 times before, it works really nicely with the media broadcast building actually. It's just such a nice little kind of extension of it, almost like its own little private gardens, you know, where media broadcasting employees can go and enjoy a little walk. Let's bring our pathways through here. Now I think what we'll do is we'll relocate our med clinic over to this side right now. Let's have it right out here. We'll prefer it in a corner. This area's slowly coming together, isn't it? I actually think the trolleybus wires have added quite a lot. Got some nice open car park vibes here. It's going to be a difficult episode to name, this one. The commercial town centre, maybe? Who knows? Who knows? Let's also introduce some light zoning. Couple of little 4x4s here and there. And I'd rather keep the arterial free. I think what we'll do is kind of merge into some office park vibes here to accompany the media broadcast building. So let's bring ourselves a road like this. Again, what we'll do right here is come off the road guideline. And we'll just start to formulate some smaller kind of grids and boxes for our office space to sit in here. Okay, so I'll go ahead, throw in some zoning and kind of see what little office assets we can get and generate something of a little office park to border up alongside our arterial here as well. Let's see what we get generating, shall we? Okay, so just a little smaller collection of office assets to help fill out that space there. I really need to remove this traffic light, don't I? Let me do it before you comment, as I know some of you are about to. There we go, let's go straight through please. Okay, so yeah, just a little bit of smaller office space to fill out those areas. It'll work quite nicely up with the media building as well, I think. Okay, I think this one is a little taller. It's quite an explosion of height, isn't it? But we may use Plop the Growables to switch that one out. I guess we'll see. And then of course, all around it, we can now integrate that small park with trees into the area. Let's come through here with just our grid. Link through like that. And then we can come out this side too. Also on this side, without the grid, we'll just come to the angle. And then what we can do is almost start to generate a little bit of a palette. And I think while we're kind of transitioning away from those high density vibes, we'll come back into something of a little more of a rural fence here. Maybe a little bit of farm fence action. We'll come up to the road. And almost use this as an opportunity to decorate the entrance to this small office park. which makes up part of the town centre. It's 2 tiles deep here, are we? Not by 20 then. And we can come in through here. In terms of pathways, I think we'll go for a little bit of the university path. Bring that through. And then we need to actually come through here as well. I think for this we'll go with regular vanilla, because this way we can come through the middle and get some nice patterns generating that way. So I think we'll run this all the way through. Very nice indeed. And then in terms of patterns, we have no Palaven pines around here yet. So maybe just the smallest little Palaven pine repeated pattern. Same in here as well. This one is a little dwarf. Please grow. There we go, slightly more acceptable. And of course, don't forget our little street lamp trick with the trees. We come in and grab just a little kind of street lamp, and you can just about, when you get the kind of the angle right, you can just kind of glitch them into the tree so you can't really see them. They almost kind of merge in. And then just as we come into the nighttime view, it kind of illuminates the base of the tree, right? Yeah, Office Park looks really nice at night. How is the media broadcast building doing? Yeah. Yeah, surprisingly successful build, everyone. Surprisingly successful. It's been quite a nice one today. Very unique collection of assets, isn't it? Got 3 uniques in here. Kind of micro little transport hub here that takes people into the let's actually see how many people are getting off at this metro station, at the monorail station. Confusing all kinds of public transport today. There's a few people waiting. Yeah, there's a few getting off as well. I'm guessing these guys will be heading over to the academic library gardens. Some of them heading over into the transport hub as well. And how are we looking from over here now? Actually, this little pop of height here is a very welcome addition, I think. I think it is, isn't it? It's a very welcome addition. And from up on the hill, yeah. No, it still kind of looks high density. There's some chunkier assets in here, but you can certainly tell there's a difference between the real high density part of Palaven in the actual downtown, and as we now begin to kind of crawl away from that theme. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Of course, fantastic little town centre assets that we always forget to use is the post office. These things work really nicely up on corners. It's kind of perfectly designed and modelled to fit into a corner like this. Do enjoy the occasional post office. And then we will flash out with... Oh, I still need to use this, don't I? The disaster response building is a really nice looking asset, and I never ever use it. Soon, I promise. Promise we will soon. Okay, let's go ahead and grab... We could throw in a fire helicopter depot here. We did use that in the last town centre build though. Equally as much with the police helicopter depot. That's going to fit in quite nicely there, isn't it? And its radius. I feel like it's better suited over here, isn't it? It does kind of work perfectly there though. I mean, we will eventually have houses around here, so I guess it can stay, right? I guess it can stay. And then we'll also throw in a childcare centre and grab ourselves Park, Karas, Bouncy Castle 2. How does the Bouncy Castle work up next to the childcare centre? Quite nicely, I think, doesn't it? Although we have to get rid of the industrial road now if we're not going to take this down the route of emergency services. Let's go for some nice grassy roads. Yes, please. And then we can decorate up with a little bit of path border. I think maybe let's change up. Let's go for a zoo park with decoration. Off our road guideline. And again, we can take this up in a number of directions. Let's break this temporarily so we can come through. And then we will drag that monorail line back over, just so we don't forget to factor it in. Let's come over a little bit, and then hook into there. Cool. Okay, I think we'll break the path a little earlier, and use a very similar to the design to what we did with the... I actually think we'll throw this off-center. A very similar design with the entrance to the office park. We'll almost create like a little boundary for the childcare centre, you know. Now, am I being brave by throwing this off centre? Is it going to annoy me during the detailing session? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Okay. And again, we'll just draw in that little boundary. That's almost going to mark the entry points of the childcare centre, like it's its own complex, you know. And we can polish off here with a little bit of commercial zoning, and that's going to be a really nice combination of assets, I think, isn't it? Fills out some space nicely here. Lots of commercial and kind of service activity going on, which will be kind of at the real focal point and service centre of the hillside suburb, which we will work on at some point. Probably next episode, maybe. Okay. We do have a lot of kind of dead space here, but I think what we'll do is let's see how this performs actually before we move into that detailing time lapse. Let's bring our angle off here so we kind of know where we're arriving, and then come in with the road guideline. Just have a little kind of denser road infrastructure around here. I imagine a few of the intercity buses will probably take it if they head into that station. We'll see what they prefer to do. Okay, so interestingly enough, not a single person wants to use it. Yeah, they all prefer heading this way and taking this arterial than heading that way. Oh, and as I've just sat here for about 5 minutes watching this road, and as soon as I start recording, literally everyone starts taking this road. You literally couldn't write it. Okay, so revising that line. Turns out, guys, that this road is actually quite useful. It will take a little bit of pressure off here, and we will, of course, kind of move through and intersections are a little bit close, but yeah, we'll see how it performs. It's kind of feeding everyone out onto this arterial now, isn't it? It's going to take a lot of the pressure off here, which is fine. Yeah, intercity buses are taking this route now as well. To mooch through and down here to bring people in, which is nice to see. Okay. Okay. Very nice indeed. However, guys, that does feel like a good place to jump into a detailing time lapse. We are going to mooch through and design some nice little designs around our little trolleybus terminal here at both ends of it. The one over by the campus, which is getting a little bit of use now, kind of feeding people in and out of the monorail system. So, you know, some people preferring to use it rather than walking into the campus now. And it's also getting a nice bit of use as people get off the metro as well. Come through, add in some nice kind of flowy paths here, lots of fence designing to kind of give a nice border to our office park. Probably going to move this one around using Plop the Growables, maybe knock it back a touch. I don't know, I kind of like it though. I'll see how I feel before I record the outro. Bring some more transitional green belt space between the monorail and the highway, or the arterial rather, as we begin to kind of plan to move towards the airports down this main road. And come through and fill out some of these fenced off areas. Design some fences up alongside the Mall of Moderation as well, and bring in some larger rock spice to help decorate what will eventually become quite a busy little highway on and off interchange. So let's dive into the detailed time lapse, shall we? I'll speak to you all in about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. If you've enjoyed the video, a like below is always appreciated. Equally as much if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. Really nice, quite unique town centre, lots of unique buildings in here as well. Nice way to use them up. And of course retaining Palaven's key theme of lots of kind of open green belt space, lots of nice winding paths and repeated tree patterns. It really helps use up what was a fairly nice large space to work with. And it will serve as a cute little town centre as we begin to transition into the outer lying suburbia, which will lie just to the right of the screen here alongside the highway and up onto that hill. And we've also prepared our arterial roads to flow into the airports whenever we get around to building those. Too far away now, I don't think. I know a few are waiting for the airports, but they will come, just be patient. But otherwise, hang around for the rest of the outro tags. You guys wouldn't have seen all the detailing, and of course we will get to see a new view to the nighttime skyline, which is always appreciated, I think. But otherwise, I will shut up and I will leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.